us digitally, or you can join us on 25 ABC. We will go back to regular programming now that the warning has been canceled. But again, we are going to be watching this very closely as it continues to make its way off toward the northeast. Again, we'll continue on digital, and we will be watching this closely for you folks in Kasi. If we need to cut back in, we will be right here to do that for you. Keep it right here, and we'll keep you advised. All right, continuing on digital. Hannah, I just turned on my IFB. Did you talk? Are we still on digital? Okay. Okay, well, we're going to continue to watch this thunderstorm as it makes its way across southeastern Falls County. Now east of Highway 6, northwest of Bremond. This will continue to work its way up toward the Kasi area. It's weak rotation right now, and that's why the warning has been canceled, but we're just going to keep an eye on it just in case. So near the Bremond area, probably getting some strong winds, and I do anticipate that that's where we're looking at this possible circulation. Again, it's going to be just right in here. That's where we're going to be seeing that, southeast of Marlin, as it continues to work its way off toward the northeast. So folks in Kasi, let's keep an eye on this for you. Again, nothing that's imminent tornadic-wise, but we do have that potential as that continues to make its way off toward the east. So again, they did cancel the tornado warning for you folks in Falls County. If I can get this to expand. Okay. All right, so the one in Falls County has been canceled, but the rotation associated with the storm prompted the tornado is weakened and no longer appears capable of producing a tornado. But this spun up real quick, it could come back real quick as well. So that's why we're going to be watching it very closely as it works in. It doesn't look totally ominous there, but you are going to get some heavy rain as you get across eastern parts of Falls County into southwestern parts of Limestone County with this thunderstorm as it works its way off. And again, we do have some probably stronger winds going through the Franklin area, eastern parts of Robertson County. This will be making its way into Leon County, over into Madison County as well. So we're going to continue to track that very closely, Josh.
And it wouldn't surprise me if we see anything come out of that stuff in Robertson County, because just querying some of the velocity on there, Matt, we've got outbound showing up close to 56, 60 miles per hour there.
That's close to the radar set, yeah.
And you see the bow already taking place there. So right in here, that's the base velocity, raw base velocity. I was querying it, and it's close to 50 to 60. So.
All right. So there we go. So we are going to be tracking that very closely. It is starting to bow out just a little bit. We are seeing a bit of a bow with this thunderstorm as it works its way off. So again, I wouldn't be surprised to get a warning for possible wind across parts of Robertson County with this. Even if it's not, it's still going to be one of those where we're going to be watching it closely, because it could become severe at any time as that works its way off toward the east. So again, we're continuing to track this very closely, and we're going to be watching it as well, but we're going to be watching this main part right here. That's where our bow is, right in there. And that's going to be heading off toward the east and toward the northeast. So that's going to be heading toward you folks in Madison County. So folks in Madison County, that is moving your way slowly but surely. And again, winds at least to 50 miles per hour, and wouldn't be surprised. We got a warning. We did get a warning on this one earlier across Milam County, southeast of Cameron, from Rockdale over toward the east. So again, that'll be something that we had to watch. This storm has had a history of being severe, so we need to watch that one. And then, of course, the one up in Falls County, making its way off toward the northeast as well, moving toward you folks in the Kasi area. Quite a bit of lightning associated with that one as it works its way off toward the east. So kind of doing a little tour here. Again, Kasi, you're about to get into some lightning, thunder. It's probably some strong winds. And even on the backside of this thing, Josh, we do have some strong winds, even toward the Waco area. This is blowing out the backside of our thunderstorm, and that continues to work its way through McLennan County as well.
Yeah, and you know, just coming into work, you could hear the wind really increasing here in the last few minutes. You could hear it blowing through our towers. So I think it wouldn't surprise me if what's happening is we're seeing that little low develop with this, and I think that's also probably what turned that storm tornadic briefly there over Falls County, and that's why we're seeing those gusty winds not only on the backside but in the front side as well. coming out of that bow echo there in Robertson County. So
Let's see what
something
we're
we
doing
will
here
have
with
to
the wind
watch.
gusts. Oh yeah, look at that.
Goodness.
59 miles per hour. Folks, that's severe. That's a severe wind gust at the airport in Waco. Anything above 58 miles per hour. So we are getting gusts close to 60 miles per hour, even on the backside of this thunderstorm. So that's going through McLennan County. So again, some strong winds there. That would be classified as severe.
And look at the direction the wind's blowing.
And the wind's blowing out of the southeast. So again, it's in the wake of our thunderstorm activity, and it's blowing back out. So you have lower pressures here, and it's trying to rush in and fill that air. And when you get that, you get the wind to increase because it's trying to fill a void. And simple physics going on here right now, and that will continue again. So we do have the strong winds that are blowing here, again, close to 60 miles per hour. So we have that to contend with as well. So we do have some of those strong winds going right across our area. And again, we're going to continue to watch this as well. Let's see here. Let's go back to our radar product. So we're getting strong winds out the backside. We know that. And we're probably going to get strong winds out the front side as well. So again, pretty good bow there, east of Franklin. So Weather Service not chatting about it currently, but you are looking at the velocity products on there.
Yeah, and it's still showing up with some of the, whenever we see some of the more white colors showing up in the middle of the pink, that's usually a sign we're getting close to 60 mile per hour winds going in there. And when I query it, Matt, it's showing close to, well, it's not wanting to go, but it will. There's 50 there. A little further south, I saw one that was a little higher. There's 69 showing up now in one of the queries, or one of the pixels just south of Franklin. So this, and that's right where the bow is. So that south wind, that's where it's really coming out there, and you have it right there too, 68.
I would be surprised if we get a warning out of this pretty soon.
Absolutely.
Freestone County. So yeah, we're going to be watching this one closely as that makes its way off toward the east. So again, I would probably classify that one as severe. Even though we don't have an official warning, I would say that that one's probably has the potential to become severe here. The rotation up in Falls County has ceased. That is good news for Falls County, and that's what we want to be able to say to you. But you can still get some strong winds around the Cossie area as well. So just because we're done with the tornado threat here, it does appear that we still could see some strong winds. Let's go ahead and query this as well.
Yeah, and it is worth noting, Matt, that is about 3,000 to 4,000 feet up in the air from the radar site just because of the angle. So,
but look at how the rain's just bringing it down here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we had the rain falling at a heavy rate where the wind core is. That's likely bringing it down to the surface, or at least close to. So I would say at least 50 mile per hour gusts here, blowing from eastern parts of Falls County between now just south of Highway 7, moving toward you folks in Cossie and Limestone County. So that's one that we're going to watch closely. And then again, this one down here, that's even stronger. Even stronger now. Let's query some of this. Yeah, we're getting into the 60, 70 mile per hour range here. So we'll see. We'll see if they're going to issue a warning.
I'm really surprised there's not one, honestly. I don't know, is there a significant weather advisory for it? If there's not one of that, I'm really surprised.
So again, near the Franklin area, no matter, we're meteorologists too. I'm going to say that that is close to severe levels here.
Absolutely.
So we are going to say that that is close to severe levels south of Franklin as it makes its way off toward the northeast.
And it's worth noting that when this was over Milam County and had a warning, that warning was issued for 65 mile per hour wind gusts. And that's a little higher than 60, which is the, well, 58 is the threshold. We just rounded up to 60 a lot, but 58 is the official threshold for a severe thunderstorm warning. That's at least 10 miles per hour higher. So this thing was a high wind producer and likely still is as it's coming up Highway 79, a little closer there to Franklin. Matt, I want to get a track on that storm real quick, if you don't mind me
Go.
tracking
You take
that.
over on that one.
Go, if you don't mind me tracking that real quick,
for it.
and we'll take a little track on that storm. It's likely working. It was working at 45, so since the wind's starting to gust out a little bit more, the wake low is going, I'm going to track it at 50 just to get an advance heads up for some of our folks in parts of eastern Robertson, western Leon, and western Madison County. We'll put a track on the leading edge of that wind going northeast at about 50 miles per hour, and that will put it nearing the communities of Easterly by around 1026, Ridge by around 1032, Hilltop Lakes, that's resort community there in southern Leon County. It'll be there by 10:38, Normandy by 10:45, moving towards Centerville closer to 11 o'clock. So that's about the time that the leading edge of those high winds should reach you, just based on current speed and giving you a little bit of a heads up. So something to be watching. Let's go ahead and look at the radar imagery. This is what you're going to be most accustomed to usually, is going to be what we call reflectivity. That is what you're seeing, is the rain coming out, and lightning's still pretty robust in that system, although notice the lightning has gone down a little bit, so likely we're having that storm pulsed up, put out that wind as it bowed out, and you're seeing the results of that. That doesn't mean that that storm can't re-strengthen. There's a lot of warm air still in our southeastern counties that's ready to feed this. The reason the severe threat is lower, at least closer to I-35, we've had the rain all morning, so that's really helping us out. But down the south, that's untapped energy that's in place over some of our southeastern counties. So if you're watching, say, from Freestone down to Leon, Robertson, Madison down into Brazos and Grimes County, you still have a lot to play with this system, and we aren't done yet. That's why we're still here tracking it for you. But notice this little spin, at least in the radar data. If you look really closely, I'll grab my pointer tool, and you see that spin on the backside coming like that. That's what wrapped this storm up, and what likely is this low we've been talking about developing.
Yeah, we have a little meso-low right there.
That's why we're seeing the strong winds out of the east and the southeast over in parts of McLennan County. The winds down in Robertson County are likely coming out of the northwest and the west on the backside of that storm. So a little bit of meteorology happening here this morning, as well as something that's going to impact those of you maybe in Waco and Temple that maybe you're heading to morning services this morning or to an early Sunday brunch. You're going to likely be fighting those winds as you're heading to where you're going. So despite the fact there's no warnings on the I-35 corridor, I certainly wouldn't want to be messing around going north-south on it with that crosswind coming from the east-west. So we continue to track this storm. Again, no warning yet for Robertson County. This storm has a history of producing high winds, or at least history of producing warnings for high winds, and that was over Milam County. It also has a history of being tornadic. That happened over Falls County and wrapped up really quickly as it moved over Falls County. Thankfully, we aren't seeing anything tornadic at this time, but certainly with that warm, that muggy air, and when you get this many dynamics happening within a storm, things can spin up quick. But right now, I think the main focus that has me concerned is going to be those of you in parts of Robertson County from Franklin down through Hearn over towards Normandy. That's likely where you're seeing the highest winds. And if we can get a few more roads in here, you can see Farm Road 46, Farm Road 2446, and Farm Road 1940, all of which go south off of 79 through Franklin. That's probably where the highest wind is being reported at this time. And again, some of this wind may be reaching up to 60 miles per hour. We're querying the map, and you're seeing 67, 66 miles per hour. Then there's a pretty good shot you're seeing 60 mile per hour winds coming out of that storm south of 79 at least.
It's in the rain like that.
Absolutely, because the rain's dragging down that cool air, helping to push that wind out of there. So we're watching that storm closely. Again, no warnings as of yet. One other thing I want to bring up is the fact we've had some pretty decent rain here across central Texas. We'll roll back 6-hour accumulations because that'll take us all the way back to 4 a.m. And look, we have multiple areas that have seen 2 to 4 inches of rain, so likely those rivers are a little high as well.
Especially in Hill County. We saw all that rain yesterday with those training thunderstorms, and that's now today. Another 2 to 4 inches of rain, so would not be surprised. We don't have to worry about water in Lake Whitney or Waco
For
anytime soon. We're good there for a while. And Belton Lake is coming up. Stillhouse Hollow is coming up, and I do think it did rain to the west. Let's go back to that again.
Did rain to the west. We'll go back to, we'll do 12-hour accumulations, well, 24 will take us a while back, and you can see all that. It's going to be rolling into our lakes.
That did fall into the basins for Belton and for Stillhouse Hollow.
And it's worth noting the storms now are even producing very heavy rainfall. Look at these torrential rainfall rates that are happening a little closer southeast of Marlin. We have the algorithm picking up close to 4 to 5 inches per hour. So that is torrential rainfall coming down along I-14 between Cossie and Bremont. Also to the east of Franklin, and then down over Milam and Burleson County, those 4 to 5 inch rainfall rates. So, you know, we're talking about wind. We're talking about that's causing the damage, but these rain rates are going to be nothing to mess around with either. So really and truly a good morning to stay in the house if you can across our southeastern counties this morning. Still a lot of lightning with this storm, and the storm still continues to shoot off to the east as it's working up Highway 79, and now it's going to be nearing parts of Leon County. So Leon, Madison County, you're next up to see this storm.
Now we got to put our forecaster hat on. Models said that this was going to be dying out as it made its way east of I-35. Well, obviously that's not happening. How is this going to disrupt the afternoon activity is what we're going to have to figure out here. Because there could be a chance of severe weather as you head east of Highway 6 from Bryan College Station. I'd say it's from Fairfield to Bryan College Station east. There's going to be another potential for some severe weather later on this afternoon. But how does this massive thunderstorms affect it, especially if the models aren't handling it correctly? So that's something we're going to have to figure out here over the next several hours as this continues. Maybe it's going to disrupt just enough, hopefully, to where we don't have much in the way of severe weather this afternoon. Some models agree with that, others do not. We're just going to have to wait and see, but here comes.
And that is just way off.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, that's what I'm talking about. And then it starts to develop stuff this afternoon. So is that going to happen?
And that's graph.
We're going to have to wait and see.
You'd hope Triple R would catch up with that a little bit.
Yes.
See if we have that real quick. This should be Triple R. Okay, well that's right.
Okay.
That's good.
So then it dies.
But it still has stuff building, I guess,
Yeah.
on the edge of that low.
Yeah.
That's interesting there, late in the afternoon.
So again, this is something we're going to have to watch here, as this area of thunderstorm activity could disrupt what's going to happen this afternoon and keep it hopefully lower than what some models are anticipating. The Triple R here, what we were showing you, that one is the most aggressive one. It tries to develop some supercells from Fairfield to Bryan College Station and points to the east, and we'd have the chance for isolated tornadoes and some damaging winds with that. So again, that's something we'll have to watch for mid to late afternoon going into this evening before everything shifts off to the east, and I think Monday's going to be a lot quieter day here across the area. But it was nice to have some rain once again on a Sunday morning here across our area. And if you've been joining us, again, we did have a tornado warning earlier southeast of Marlin. That storm has weakened. It looks like that things are calming down just a little bit. No new warnings have come in. Torrential rain coming from these thunderstorms, though, so you may pick up a quick ½ inch to an inch as these make their way through your area. We'll have to watch for redevelopment later on this afternoon. There are a couple of thunderstorms trying to go there west of Austin, but they're struggling as of right now. And I would anticipate that's going to happen because this has probably produced a tremendous amount of overturning, what we tend to call is a lot of cooler air rushing from the upper levels down into the low levels and helping us to cool off the atmosphere, take away our energy just a little bit. So again, that's what we're going to be focusing on. But still expect, even with this little low right here, we need to have winds. We're probably going to have winds of at least 50 miles per hour blowing towards your folks in Centerville and Madisonville. That will continue there, maybe up to Fairfield as well. And we've had winds on the backside of this in the Waco area. So folks in Limestone County, don't be surprised if we have winds of 50 to 60 miles per hour, maybe a little stronger than that, blowing out the backside of these thunderstorms as well. Bell County, haven't seen as much of that wind, but it's probably a little bit breezy there as well. And it will continue to make its way off toward the northeast. So folks from along the I-45 corridor, from Fairfield to Centerville to Madisonville, this is moving your way. We're going to continue to watch it closely. No warnings as of right now, but if warnings pop back up, we will be right here for you. And of course, we'll do it digitally and on air as well. So keep it right here. We'll keep you advised. We're watching it closely.